Welcome to the Art Project. I hope you find this video palatable. I hope that it whets your appetite for more of my videos. You will find this video chock full of goodness. Welcome to the Art Project. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. This is a continuation of another video that I did called Nocturnal Landscapes. I found the project on artiscula.com, and I recommend that you go over to that website and check it out. Miriam has some amazing projects there for really for all ages, but she caters, I believe, to mostly middle school students. So in this particular instance, though, I am doing this project with my own children at home. I've covered our table with some brown paper and given them their own drawing paper. We've taped it down. My daughter there in the middle is 12 years old, and my daughter on the far end is 5 years old. And of course, I'm not going to tell you my age, but I'm older. And so I'm just kind of guiding them through it a little bit at a time and to see what they want to do. So in the end, this is supposed to have trees and so on at nighttime with the moon and so on. My middle daughter asked if she could do mountains. Not my middle daughter, my 12-year-old. And my youngest daughter just kind of going with it. Now, in order to do this step by step, you probably ought to really watch the main video. The how-to video. But this just kind of gives you an example of what different kids at different ages and different people can do with the same sort of project. After doing the sky and the trees, then we added some snow in the foreground. The snow has a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the black added into it to kind of give it, some variations, striations, if you will, in the snow. My 5-year-old ended up making hers mostly blue. We then took a quarter and traced it for the moon, and my 12-year-old took the lid off of a baking soda can to make a much larger moon behind her mountains that she drew, that she painted. Now, one of the neat things about this is you're just doing a silhouette of the mountains or a silhouette of the trees. I then took a toothpick and started making stars. My 5-year-old did not get a toothpick at first. She used a small brush, so she has much larger stars than me and my 12-year-old have. You really can't have too many stars. You know, I mean, if it's a nocturnal landscape and it's night and you're out in the snowy woods, then you're going to have a lot of stars. You're going to see a lot of stars. So I just kept adding them and adding them. My 5-year-old daughter's turned out really, really nice because she did have larger stars, and that was kind of interesting. Then I started adding the trees, which are simply black lines of different sizes, starting somewhere down in the snow and going up to the top. My 5-year-old started doing this, and she did a pretty good job, but I think, if I recall, she only ended up with about 3 trees total. My 12-year-old added several trees, and I kept adding trees until I was just convinced that it was enough. And then later on, in retrospect, I kind of looked at it and thought, no, it needed more trees. But if you add too many trees, you can't see the sky or the moon, so kept it simple. Now, making the branches on the trees are a little bit of the hard part. You want to use a pretty small brush for this, and you want to be kind of cognitive of what you're doing. You want to think about what it is that you're doing, because at one point I was just making limbs, and I ended up making 4 or 5 limbs on 4 or 5 different trees that were like exactly the same place each time. You'll notice I went around to help my 5-year-old out a little bit. She kept dragging her shirt through the painting, and she was getting really aggravated about how messed up it was. And so I had to go back and show her how she could paint over the snow with white and fix it all. She ended up doing a pretty good job, but she got really frustrated with a lot of it. It wasn't turning out like mine or her older sisters, and she really wanted it to be good. And you can see here she's completely painting over all of the white with some more blue. So, obviously, age and maturity makes a difference. But I don't think, you can't really ever start too young. She's not going to learn how to do it unless you start. And it doesn't really matter whether you start when she's 5, start when your child's 5, or start when your child's 12. I think my 5-year-old will probably come back around and do this again later on and do a little bit better job. One of the things that I found, and maybe you'll see this at the end when I show you the paintings, my 5-year-old's, while she ended up painting her snow real blue, I thought it kind of looked like reflections of the trees in the water. So at the end, you look at it and see what you think. Towards the very end of this, my 5-year-old could not handle it anymore, and she was getting tired, and it was nap time. So anyway, I'll let you get a look at these closer. I hope you enjoyed this. Oh, by the way, I'm using this piece of paper as a ruler, pointing it at the moon and drawing a straight line out from the base of the trees, so I'll know where the shadows go. For the shadows, I actually just used a brush with some black paint still in it and some water. So it's really kind of watered down, almost like watercolor. And there you have it. Then we cleaned up and we pulled the tape off of it. Pulling the tape off of it is so satisfying. And that was the end of the project. What do you think? So again, if you enjoyed this video, please share it with your friends, share it on your favorite social network, social media platform, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Tap the bell if you want more notifications of future videos. Be sure to come and watch me live on Saturday nights at 8:30. And there's one more thing. Oh yeah, look in the description down below. There may be some good information, links to other websites, supplies that we used, and so on. Thanks for watching. It's your turn. Go make some art.